Hi, everybody. So I'm back with a LENORMAND reading. Some of you commented on this questionnaire that I did on the community tab. If you don't check out the community tab, please head over because every now and then I ask questions over there or, share some uplifting posts. So anyways, someone said that they really like the LENORMAND readings. And by the way, I am now offering a tarot and Lenormand course. So it's going to be $49.99 and just sign up. The link is in the description box below, and we'll go through how to read, especially we'll do a lot of love readings in the Lenormand that are specific to the Lenormand layout. And so we'll be learning various spreads, and these are old spreads that come from, because the Lenormand is actually a German deck. So I'll be explaining that. It's an old deck. It's been in use for, oh my gosh, since the 1800s. And so there are a lot of little things that we do over here in Germany that are not necessarily known outside of the the local area that I'm in here. So I'll be teaching these specifics, and you won't find it in any books that you're going to buy. And we'll be diving in on how to read on love readings, predictive readings, for yourself, of course, for loved ones, financial readings, things of that nature. And of course, you're going to get a little bit of a handout with it, with the explanations of the cards that I grew up with, which also tie into cities, so specific locations and things of that nature. Okay. So sign up for it. It's only $49.99. It's going to be one of the, that's pretty much, yeah. It's going to be in, well, you'll see the date when you watch this at the bottom of this video. Okay. So I'm excited. Let's dive into this. There's a lot of energy going on and happening around the UK. And so let's look into UK and what's going on there. And what's happening right now is that the worst riots in 13 years are happening in the United Kingdom at this moment. England is witnessing its worst rioting in over a decade, triggered by anti-immigration protests following a mass stabbing in Southport. The violence, fueled by online misinformation, has spread across multiple cities, leading to clashes with police and significant unrest. Authorities are struggling to control the situation as far-right groups exploit public concerns about immigration, particularly the influx of migrants arriving by boat from France. The events have sparked a national debate on immigration and the influence of far-right agitators. So what's interesting is that, for those of you that don't know what happened, it's a bizarre story. About 4 days ago, 5 days, almost a week ago now, a young man, underage, 17 years old, took a taxi and drove to a dance studio, which was hosting dance classes, workshops, something like that for kiddies between 6 and 11 years of age, and started randomly stabbing the children. He ended up killing three of the children. I think three of the children died. Three or four of the girls died. And two others were seriously injured, but also people that tried to get in between and to stop the attack and so on and so forth. He was finally cornered by police, tasered, and taken out. But the thing that gets to me is he's on the autism spectrum. It is claimed he was born to Rwandan parents in Wales. And he was also a child actor himself. Now, in any case, usually the names of minors are not released, but the EDL, this is the far right group in the UK, headed under Tommy Robinson, who was just dumped by his Indian tax advisor. Like, this story is just so wild, because she says that he is inciting to violence and hatred, which in a way he probably is, all from the island of Greece, a Greek island somewhere, or Cypriot island just off of Cyprus. So it is a wild story, but this triggered the British in a way that was completely unexpected. They went off. They started rioting, and as of yet, the riots haven't fully stopped. but they're saying they want their country back. They're sick of immigration. They're sick of uncontrolled immigration. The pricing, everything, life is too costly. And they want the immigrants that are coming on boats to, be pushed back, so on and so forth. So it sparked a debate around why immigration even happened in the UK, where most of the immigrants are coming from that are living in the UK currently, which is a really interesting story because the Windrush, for those of you that don't know, was after World War II, when most of the men were not there anymore. The UK had to find labor, so they turned to its Commonwealth and especially the Caribbean. And so a lot of Caribbean people, Jamaican people went to the UK to work. And that's how they got there. And but they were expected to stay in their class, not rise above. People back then thought they were just going to come and help them rebuild the country, basically, and then either leave or somehow disappear silently. But of course, that didn't happen. And so now people are reminding them, and they're also saying, like, you actually didn't win the war because of the Americans, because the Americans are taking that clout, or that clout is being given to them, either way you want to see it, but because of the Indians who sent I several hundreds of thousands of troops to support the British war effort. So it's interesting, all of this and where this is going, but it turned into large scale riots across several cities, and which are being fueled by the far right groups in the UK, and people saying they want their country back, and other people saying, you have your country, like, what are you talking about? They're taking all our jobs, and but that job thing is so old. Like, it goes back to even in medieval ages, people were complaining about migrants taking jobs. Like, it's in medieval paperwork. And it's usually the same group of people that don't have the education or the willingness to work themselves up or to educate themselves into a good paying job. So it's like, what are you talking about? Which jobs are they taking from you? The cleaning jobs, the receptionist jobs, the jobs that you don't want, kind of thing, or the jobs that you don't have certifications for, so they need to outsource for that. It's become quite the debate, but it's turned very, very, very ugly, and as yet no end in sight. So the government, of course, as always, is using this as an opportunity. So we're going to dive in to see what else might be behind it, because for me, it's sus that this 17-year-old autistic actor just randomly gets into a taxi. Like, that's so premeditated. Drives to a specific dance studio. Why that one? Why that dance studio? And stabs randomly 8 kids and just goes nuts. Like, it makes no sense. The story just makes no sense. And so he's now of course in custody. He's going to be going through trial and so on and so forth. But it's a bizarre story, and it's even more bizarre that it sparked such a deep, passionate response from the British people. Of course, things were building up in the UK for quite some time, especially after COVID. I've heard from friends that live in London that it's absolutely unlivable there now. Before it was expensive, now it's ridiculous. Like, it's beyond, and people literally cannot afford their lives there anymore. But that goes for all of the UK, where people feel the pinch. So when people are dissatisfied, this is kind of what happens. So when we think back to the WEF in the morning, that it's going to be an angrier world, was this what they were referring to? I'm not quite sure. But I do feel there's a little bit more to the story than is being generally told. So we're just going to have a theoretical peek. Remember, these are theories. These are not facts that are going to be coming up here, but who knows? Okay. So let's have a deep dive into this young man. Unfortunately, his identity had to be released because wrong information was going around. And they were saying that the person who did the murders was a Muslim extremist or something like that, but it wasn't. He's the child of a Ruda Cubana, Axel Ruda Cubana, 17-year-old, who was the child of Rwandan immigrants. And yeah. So let's have a look at first And let's see here. I'm going to be working with various sets of cards, but I'm going to try and see if I can do a personality read on him with a Lenormand and see what comes up and out. So that's how everybody sees Axel, how he sees himself, and how only others see him, how God sees him. So he's stonewalling, yeah? Like he's not really saying much. This is the mountain. And they see him as being really difficult to deal with. But also he just blocked up his own future. He just completely torpedoed his life. And so they see him stoic, stonewalling as being, he's not saying much. They're not getting anything out of him at this time. He sees himself as this is the ship, the fulfillment of some kind of a promise. He's the fulfillment of some kind of a promise. Now, this is interesting because the ship can also represent desires. It represents overseas as well. So something at a long distance. There's something else at a long distance to him that he's connected to. Then how only others see him is the snake. And they see him as being deceitful, and how spirit sees him is the tree. He is the fruit of the tree. Okay. So there's something else, as I'm saying, there's something else going on here. Come on, focus. There we go. Tree. There. So there's something else going on here, but what's stunning to me is the ship. And the ship can also represent a ton of money. It represents a ton of cash, a ton of money. So there's some kind of a payment that occurred here. Okay. So some kind of a fulfillment of a promise, fulfillment of a shipment, but also fulfillment of a payment. Payment happened. Let's see what else is coming up. And also, let me get these cards here. I really like them at the moment, the animal spirit. But how does, give me a characterization, please, of Axel, I can pronounce his last name. I can pronounce his last name. Axel Ruda Cubana. Even when I say his name, like sometimes when I do these readings on specific type of people, I can feel the energy, but with him, there's like, he's fine. An emotional gray out. So overall, he's been dealing with sharks. The overall energy is a shark. This is interesting that this card comes up as the overall energy here. And we've got octopus. So there's something deeply hidden, deeply, like these are both creatures that live in the ocean. So there's something underneath the surface that is long and tentacled and has many connections, is deep rooted, and is incredibly, this is a shark. This is incredibly vicious and powerful. So there's an incredible, powerful, deep rooted, deeply connected thing that is happening here. We've got the lizard, how everybody sees him as a chameleon, right? But also as a lizard, he's really not saying anything. He's just gray walling. He's adapting to the he's sticking to the wall, sticking to his whatever construct they're doing. He's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Oh, you did it because of this? Yeah, you're right. How he sees himself, he thinks he's smart, he thinks he's intelligent, but also this is a legacy. This is something that has been carried on from the fathers, okay, the elk. And we see the crown here. This is the result of a thought process. This is almost a fractal undulating. So there's something that his father is connected to, or connected, someone his father is connected to or with, that has an influence on him. This is something continued, the continuation of. Others see him as being in fear. This may be him right now, and how he comes across is, on the one hand, yeah, cool as a cucumber, not giving anything away, but on the other hand, acting, showing little signs of being very, very petrified. But how God sees him is pride goes before a fall. There's something that deeply inside he's proud of what he did. Now that's thankfully, nobody's like I don't think anybody that has anything to do with it is going to be watching this. So, but that's what I'm picking up is there's no remorse. Okay, let's put it that way. Let's put it that way. So let's have a look at the intentions and a bigger picture about what's behind this action. Like what propelled him to do that? What is this? So let's have a look at the 2024 Southampton stabbings, please. And this Axel Rudakvana. What the heck happened? So Axel is of course going to be the gentleman, the main character in this deck. So what happened? Actually, I'm gonna add a couple people to it. 1 second. Do. Yeah, I'm just gonna, I just felt like adding more people to it because I feel like there's more coming up. There's so many people involved in this. This is not something that, and I'm adding one extra card that is also not usually found in the Lenormand. And let's see what it's called, the plans. So let's see what happens. Axel Rudakvana and the stabbings. What is going on? What is really happening behind the scenes, please? Okay. So yeah, the first card that pops up is the plans. This is interesting. The plans. The second card is the ship. And I'll be shifting the camera in a second so you can see better. Let's see. Rudakvana. Let's see. Rudakvana. Let's see. Rudakvana. Yeah. He's completely overwhelmed right now. Yeah, okay. So let me shift the camera so you can see what. Okay, so you can see here I did an 8-card rows and just use them all up until I'm done. So generally speaking, in the Lenormand, you have the past over on the left side, generally speaking, the future on the right side. Again, the thoughts are at the top, the actions are in the middle, and what's being rejected to act upon or ignored is at the bottom. This is all very generally speaking, okay? So it also depends on which direction the characters are looking. So for example, this would be her future over here, okay, on the right, because she's looking in that direction. And her past would be behind her because she's come out of that direction, and so on and so forth. So the main character, Axel Rudakvana, will find down here. And we can see that he's completely overwhelmed. He's totally overwhelmed. How do we know that? Because all these cards are at the top. He's all the way at the bottom. So he feels overwhelmed by life. His mind is going a mile a minute. There would be much more confidence for him if he would be up here and everything would be beneath him. So we're seeing that he's really in a tricky situation. He's yearning for his mom, which is over here, the stork energy. Here we have the fish, which would be money. He's thinking about money, concerns about money and finances, the dreams that he had. A possibility is also drugs, that he's receiving medication for his mental state, because here above here we have the clouds, which is worry, anxiety, stuff like that. The fish can either represent excessive, like exorbitant amounts of money, or like I said, drugs. It all depends. So it could be though that he's receiving some kind of medication. There's the key. He's feeling quite secure, or the ring. Sorry, the ring, not the key. And let me just check what this one is underneath. And that should be the book, yeah. Yeah. That's what I thought. So he's keeping quiet about his connections. The book is silence. The book is usually secrets. Something is remains quiet, something remains closed. He's not talking. He's got some kind of a mentor, the lilies, an elderly man, an elderly who's also connected to a feminine energy here. He's very anxious about his mother, Axel Rudakubana. Also, well, anxious would be, but he's thinking about her a lot, and but she's cut contact to him. Either she's cut contact to him, or she's and not being allowed access to him, but they've somehow cut him off here. He is staying loyal to another person, because here we have the ring, a connection, and this ring connects to his mentor, but it also connects to this other person. And we have the dog, which is a friend and loyalty. This is someone who might be short, dark-haired person. I want to say he was connected to, there is a connection to some inciting energies. Okay, let's put it that way. That's what I'm seeing here. I already have my suspicions as to who these inciting energies are. Like, I'm getting impressions as I'm doing this. And for one, they're not only of one specific race. Okay, so there's a mixed heritage group that he's connected to, or several people that he's connected to, that have been influencing him, inspiring him, things of that nature. There are people that want to help him, that seemingly, and that are completely overwhelmed with the situation as well. I want to say that this is the judge. I don't know why I want to say that. Lenormand is very intuitive, yeah. But I want to say that this is the judge over here. I don't know why. And that he's receiving a lot of information, but he feels overwhelmed with this case and with the situation as well. There are too many pieces that don't add up for no one, that just don't make sense. And this kid is not opening up. He's not talking. This is the heart. This is the sun. So this is someone who influenced him. Whoever influenced him is known to the family, was already introduced to the family, is known to the family. They know of him, or they know him directly. He thought that because he's a child, he's going to get away with it. Okay, children here. He wanted to cause an unrest. This was definitely an intention. We see the children, and we see the knife, the scythe, which can also indicate death, right? This is actually the death card. People look to death for the coffin, which is over here, but it's actually the scythe. And the scythe can represent all kinds of things, from arguments through smaller operations, through cutting things off, cutting the cord of life off. But we see the scythe right above the children, or the child, and that's exactly what happened. He took a knife and he took them out. Here we have the key. He's secure that this is the right thing for him to do. Like, he's still convinced. Somebody told him that was the right thing to do. And it's this elderly gentleman here who's somehow connected, who's got a high position, who also lives a good life, who's possibly overseas, because we have over here the ship, which is connected to him. If we knight the cards, ship, which is long distance overseas. But we also have a garden directly above him, the rider, which is communicator. but also someone who keeps themselves active and fit, may also even have military background or military connections, but is also, connected to some kind of a female who may also be connected to, because this is on the same line of his mother. So if this is his mother, um, yeah, she's in the same line as this female here. So this is someone who's known to the family, and he influenced him. He influenced him maybe from little up, but the family knows this person. And the sky, to look at that. This wasn't even his idea. My goodness. This wasn't even this kid's idea, because the scythe is not in a direct line to him. The scythe is on a direct line, though, to this person, this elderly gentleman who I keep picking up. Or to him, he's an elder. And he gave him a sense of security that since he's a minor, nothing is going to happen to him, but that's not true. This kid, something is, they're going to come up with whole new, because the crime is so horrific. It is so horrific and so horrendous. He thinks he's lucky. He thinks he's a lucky person. The luck is on his side. He firmly believes that. Yeah, there's someone trying to talk to him, this person here, who's also, this may be a caseworker, council worker, social worker, stuff like that. And he's totally overwhelmed. Like everybody is overwhelmed with this situation. Totally over their heads, because they're all at the bottom and everything that's happening here. And like I said, for some reason, I feel like this is the judge, and totally overwhelmed, not sure. He wants more information from this social worker or whoever this is, this communicator or what have you, who's trying to play off as friend, who's trying to pay off as, we're going to work together. But this kid is stonewalling him. He's not giving him an inch, not an inch. He may be working together with someone, a female. This may be someone who's connected to the family. This may be the actual mother. This is the nurturing energy of the mother over here with the stork, but the actual mother might very well be this woman. And so whoever this is might be working together with the mother to try to get to this young man, but it's not working. He doesn't know how to get over this mountain. He sees a mountain in front of him and feels like, oh, his compassion might run out. This is the heart representing compassion, love, all of that. And he's, if these difficulties continue with this kid, his compassion might end coughing. This kid has the snake all the way away from him, so he's not a liar. He's not a fraud. He just it doesn't say anything. He doesn't talk. Whoever this man is in a hot country, because we've got here the sun right next to him. He's also someone with a massive aura. His mother may have health issues or may now start having health issues, but there's a health concern that she's ignoring or been ignoring. She's also not helping the case. So she's not working. There's no connection between her and this person who I think is the judge, because we have the mountain here, which is blocking everything off. We see here also the loss of children because we have the child and the mice. So the children are lost. He may have been told that he was going to become very famous for doing this or earn some kind of accolades, valid recognition for his deed. I also feel that he's not on a level of a 17-year-old. They're going to turn up and say that he's, delayed somewhat in his cognition. This may have been religious or fated work with the anchor and the cross. Yeah, it's about this person right here, this Lily's card. Huh. Yeah, they're at a loss. This kid is not talking. And I'm gonna start reading on this person right here, who this guy is. Yeah. So what I'm picking up from these cards, you guys, is that he's staying loyal to the cause. He's not talking. He's taking this all on. There may have been some kind of financial recompense. There is a feeling that he didn't plan this by himself. Somebody helped him plan it or inspired him to plan it. There may even have been something, this is targeted against the West because of the Taylor Swift influence. It wasn't just a random kitty getup. It was a one that was based on Taylor Swift. So possibly her music, her style, you name it. Taylor Swift themed dance getup. And so they were specifically targeting a specific type of child. Um, to me, whoever does anything against children, it's just despicable. It's abominable. And I do believe that I think I'm feeling who's behind this and who targeted this. I am picking it up. I'm not quite sure I want to say it on camera, but um if you're guessing a hot country and it's somewhere that has deserty environment, or we've been taught it has a deserty environment, you're not far off. And but it's someone who definitely has no compunction about going against children or utilizing children because they feel they're justified in doing that. So if they're justified in doing that, then they've lost children as well in their fight. So not much more guesswork is needed. But it's definitely, this is someone who's out of this kid's league. The lily represents an older mentor. It also represents family, feeling familiar, feeling at home. It represents the simple joys. So this is someone who may have come in and out of the household and who is known to the family, absolutely known to the family. Who is this person, please? Who is this person? Okay, let me throw back out the excess cards. Okay, who is this person? How do others that know him see him? How does he see himself? How does how do only others see him? How does spirit see him? This is for this person, the lilies. We've got someone who's loyal and committed to the cause, the ring. He's far away from the scene, and interesting because this is how Axel saw himself as well, the kid. This is how he saw himself with a ship. So the solution to something, financial connections, but also a distance too. There's also something because the ship is huge, like it's the merchant, it's everything that people associated with it back in those days. We've also got the heart. So this is someone who's very passionate about what they do and what they're living for. And we also have the stork. I knew there was a connection somehow between these maternal energies and this person. Really interesting. Yeah. This card, I forgot to mention, can also represent a diplomat. It can represent someone who's a go-between, who's a mediator. Okay. So this is someone who's definitely a traveler who has a higher position, who's older, possibly gray-haired, white-haired, who's loyal to some kind of cause. There's the ring. He's committed. He's loyal. And this is something he's done before. This is a recurring situation, passionate, the heart. And spirit actually sees this as a, as a, there's some kind of a connection to the maternal side of the family, but he influenced Axel to do what he did. Okay, it may have been his idea, may have been something that was suggested. Now the question is why? Why, spirit? Why? 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 This is an op tower. The tower represents government. It represents limiting institutions, installations, agencies, this kind of grouping. So this is definitely something coming from high up. Why? The bear. Why? The moon. Yeah. So they might say it's like a psychotic break, or he had a psychotic break or something like that, but um possibly possibly he did, but it's definitely there's something bigger behind the scenes about this. um the government, currently the UK government, is utilizing the situation to implement deeper security measures, a more working together and intelligence sharing between various agencies, but also groups and countries, to implement all that which people are actually fighting against. And this is what I tried to explain years ago when I was doing videos on rioting and complaining and standing up, is that we have to go about it differently because they're just utilizing this to implement more strategies that work against us in the end. So and it's interesting because they're going to be cracking down again on the internet as well, and what people are allowed to say on the internet or what's allowed to be spoken about. So there's again, I keep warning people that we're moving down an authoritarian line, and um this is happening. It doesn't help that people are losing their crap and doing stuff like what they're doing. Um, Several other people have died in the wake of this, such as a bus driver, I believe, that they just randomly stabbed. But also 39, at least 39 police officers were treated at a hospital on the first night, I think, of the riots. Like it's pretty bad. So let's pull some tarot cards into this, even though I didn't want to. I'm working with a Tarot de Marseille. Tarot de Marseille. So what's going on in the UK? What's going on in the UK? What's happening? What's happening in Britain? What is the situation? This is the Eight of Cups. They're moving away from something. They're moving away from an old scenario. They're moving away from an old paradigm. We've got the Seven of Wands. They see it as defending themselves, standing up for what they believe in. Two of Swords. Everybody's gridlocked. Nobody knows how to move forward from this or in this situation. The Moon. There's a lot of fear mongering and fear happening and fear being stoked. The Chariot, they want to move forward in their own way, in their own pathway. Like UK wants to forge their own path forward. And we've got the Eight of Coins, another group, of course, saying you know, this is the balance, this is the karma. You got this coming to you. This was a reckoning. So things are going to continue to be unstable for a while, but there won't be, because this kept flipping upside down, as you guys saw, the Knight of Cups. So there won't be an immediate resolution or reconciliation. And it's going to stay unstable for a little bit longer yet. So, yeah, make of it what you will, but there's something deeper going on here. There's an intentionality behind it. There are groups behind it that we're targeting specifically, this country, for their reasons. And yeah, this will, of course, compel the powers that be to take more measures, more security measures. And it's interesting because this is, of course, happening across France and the UK, and that these threats are coming up, and with France and the Olympics and everything that happened there, that is a complete other topic. The Olympics in France are just, wow, everybody's jaw is dropping at the things that are going on there. And it's unfathomable in some cases that this is happening, but here we are in 2024 and it is happening. So yeah, you guys let me know in the comments below what you felt, what you saw, what you picked up on, what you pick up on this child, and what could possibly have propelled him to do what he did. And yeah, sign up for the Lenormand course, you guys. Of course, it's going to be fun. It's a summer fun. We're going to have a wild time interpreting love readings and love situationships. So if you want your questions answered, join us, okay? All right, talk to you soon and see you at the Lenormand Tarot course. Bye.